All right, so we're back. I showed you guys up into basically SSHing into the server. As you can see, this is the server that we created on our Tails. Now I'm back on my Mac just so I can screen record. So normally when this were to happen, if they were using Tails to begin with, they would continue to use Tails. But like I said, I wanted to screen record, and there wasn't any way to screen record on Tails and actually save everything. So now I'm back on my Mac OS and also have a virtual instance of Kali running as well. So we'll kind of work with this. So yeah, once they get SSH into their server, that's where they can basically start and set up everything, right? So the new thing with the cloud is like everything is automated, right? Everything on down to the infrastructure is 100% automated. So what they're doing now is they'll come in, create a server, immediately start packaging that server the way that they want it, right? So that they can have multiple servers here. As you can see, I have two right now. I think my max for what I have right now is like 5 servers, which would be more than enough, you know. So I'd have at least like 3 servers that one would call like a bouncing server. You could basically go from server to server, catching the traffic, and then you could have another server up front that's running something like Nginx as a web server to look 100% legitimate, like an actual website. So if somebody were to see, you know, an IP address from there, they would actually go to that website at port 80 or 443, depending on what they went to. Meanwhile, all of the other ports are closed, minus whatever ports you want to use to, like, you know, basically catch reverse shells and set up listeners and everything else. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. So yeah, let me see. I'll go ahead and get started. So I'm going to SSH into the one that I have right now. It's I ended up naming it Metasploit because I was going to basically run a Docker container on it of Metasploit, and you know, I was testing that out and everything. I just kind of kept it, but I'm probably going to delete it. I've had it for 2 days. I'm probably going to delete it here after this video. So yeah, this the server had nothing on it whenever I originally went into it. So I did install some stuff on there, and I'll show you here in a second once this actually loads into it. And it's taking forever. Oh, there we go. All right, so we got root at localhost, so that's where we're at within this Linode server, this Metasploit, right? So from here, once they're in, like I said, like they're immediately going to want to kind of design this server to have everything that they want. Generally speaking, they're going to look at, you know, like C2, like for instance, I had Metasploit here. You know, I was trying to run this as a Metasploit like on the server, a command and control, you know, area. So the easiest way to do this though is to basically kind of prepackage everything the way that you want it, right? So obviously, if you're used to Metasploit, you're going to want to add in your own, you know, exploits if you have them, you know, things like that. So I'm not going to run through all of that, but I am going to show you something that's super easy that makes this like really ridiculously easy. I don't know if you guys have heard of it or not. It has been around for quite a while, but I'm going to show you anyway. It's called Docker, right? And Docker basically has what they call containers. Right, so if you want to run something without installing it, without installing all of its dependencies and everything else, you just want to run it like as a package by itself, you can do that now, right? So, for instance, let me show you the ones that I have. Docker images. So for instance, like if you wanted to run Metasploit, remember whenever I got onto the server, there was absolutely nothing on it. You know, so I didn't have any tools, like Nmap wasn't there, like I don't think Nmap's even on there. I might have installed it. Yeah, see, like I don't even have Nmap on there, right? Obviously I'm not going to have, you know, Metasploit on there, MSF console. See, command not found, right? So I don't have any of my tools. So how am I supposed to hack, you know, if I don't have my tools? Well, there's a very easy way around that, and that's using prepackaged images, basically called Docker containers, right? So easy way to get them is like you can either upload them yourself to their website, or you can download somebody else's if they already have it like prepackaged. Do a little search on it, find it, and then you'll run a simple command that says docker pull. And then, for instance, this one was Phocion/MSF. So this was the creator of the package, and then this is what the package was called, right? So, I mean, obviously I already have it installed, but that's what you would run. You would run docker pull and then Phocion and then MSF. And if you ran that, it would just download it to here, and you would see it whenever you ran Docker images. All right, so actually, I'll go ahead and show you guys. We'll go ahead and run some commands here. I was playing around with it earlier. I like to keep all my commands. I was playing around with Terraform earlier. So I'll get into that here in a little bit too. This actually might be split up into multiple videos just because there's so much information on this. Oh, here we go. So I'll just go ahead and run this. Oops. So if you run this command, and then I'm going to actually run Metasploit from that Phocion MSF, right? Because somebody's basically already prepackaged Metasploit and all of its dependencies to run in a Docker container. So I don't have to install anything on this server. I don't have to wait for it to install. The download is going to be super fast anyway, just due to the nature of this being a server, and it doesn't matter what internet I'm connected to. Because remember, if we were on Tails right now, it would still be running through the Tor network, which would take forever to download onto your computer to do anything in the first place, right? But since we're connected to a server that's in a server farm, chances are it's going to be relatively close to whatever server you're going to try to attack in the first place anyway. Even if it's not, it's still going to be a lot faster than what you have generally. So we'll go ahead and run this command, docker run, and then MSF, right? Uh-oh, what happened here? No such file. I have not run into this error yet. Looks like we don't have... Let me try this again. Huh, well that's really strange. This actually worked the other day. I feel like I'm forgetting to do something. I'm going to look back through my previous code. We'll go ahead and try and run Kali Linux full then. I mean... Oh, so that one worked. I don't know what I'm doing wrong with the Metasploit then. I might have to re-download the package, or I might actually have to start this. I'll look into that in a minute. So, as you can see, it just changed from root at localhost to root at a bunch of random gibberish, right? So this actually just, this was another Docker container that has Kali Linux full. So now, remember how I ran the nmap? And, oops. There was nothing there, right? So now I run nmap because I'm technically in a Kali system. Look at that. Nmap actually pops up with its help page. So I have nmap, I have MSF console actually. Since I'm not running it as its own, Docker container right now, I can run it from this Kali system and have the same thing, So if that doesn't work, obviously I can just load up Kali. And see, now it's starting to work there. So the thing with this is, once I'm done with it, man, like you can just delete them. You can get rid of them because none of its dependencies are installed. It doesn't take up that much space. Super fast because you don't have to install anything. Absolutely amazing. Docker containers also don't interact like with the computer, so to speak. They use the same kernel as the computer. But other than that, they're not going to interact. It's basically like having your own sandboxed environment, right? So now you're probably asking, well, if it's sandboxed, then how are you supposed to be able to, attack another computer or catch like reverse shells, all this stuff? So you can actually set that up before you launch these Docker containers to have certain ports open that you're going to use. I'm not going to show you how to do that right now. That might be in a continuation video. Right now, I'm just kind of going over like the methodology of how all this stuff works and how they kind of use that for these cloud attacks, right? So I'll go ahead and exit out of Metasploit here. Yeah, so a lot of times, I know quite a few people that use Metasploit, but I also know quite a few people that are using Silent Trinity, as well as what's another one like Merlin. That's I believe it's written in Go. A lot of these attackers are starting to learn like Go language, just because most like Windows systems, their antivirus and intrusion detection systems, they kind of look for things written in like C#, Java, things like that, right? So they're not going to look at these new languages coming out yet, as of yet. I'm sure in the near future we'll see a lot more improvement on that, as it would help from these attacks. But that's one of the ways that they kind of bypass everything for right now, is using things in that Go language. So Metasploit's a good C2 to use, but like I said, there was Silent Trinity, there's Merlin, there's a couple other I can't think of right offhand. So yeah, this is the first thing that they'll do is they'll set up their C2 like usually in a Docker container, right? And so they'll have it tweaked the exact way that they want it with all of their tools and everything, so that they don't have to install anything. All they have to do is run a simple command of docker pull and then whatever their repository is. So say I had a repository, we'd say savage hack and then MSF console if that's what I wanted to name my package, right? So I would just run that command. It would download Metasploit for me if I had a package loaded up on their website. And if I had 0 days that I was familiar with or that I created or things like that, I would want to install that on that package. That way, once I download it, I have literally everything at my fingertips and I have that command and control, right? So the next thing that is really, really insane to me is infrastructure as code, right? So that's like the new big thing. A lot of people are using Terraform and Ansible to kind of like automate things like that. Terraform especially for infrastructure as code. Phenomenal program. I've been playing around with it the past few days. It's got a lot of capabilities, and I'm still learning every single day with it. Great program. So with Terraform, on the attacking side, what you can do is, let's go back here. You remember how easy it was for me to, set up this server? It probably took me, like maybe 30 seconds, and that was me, like, explaining how to go through it step by step on this. So Terraform can actually automate all of this for you. It's kind of crazy to think about, I know, but it can automate this entire process for you. So let's say that you have your server here, it's all set up, you're running in-map scans on your target IP, right? And then all of a sudden you get an IP ban and like nothing's coming back for this and you can't figure out why it's not doing that. You finally figure out, oh man, they got smart and they banned this IP address, so I need another one, right? Terraform will automatically, like if you set it up the way that you want it, will automatically destroy this server and set up a new one within seconds. And not only will it set up a new server, but it'll also set it up with every package that you downloaded from Docker, right? So if that's what you wanted on it, that's what you're going to get on that next server. So your next server will be completely identical to what you had on the previous server. The only thing different will be that IP address, and it'll be a brand new server. And that's pretty crazy. And no matter how many servers you have, like all you need to do is just run a few commands, and you can have all of your servers, destroyed and rebuilt from scratch. And then we'll have everything, and you'll be back online with that new server in a matter of seconds. Like it's insane. I'm probably going to do some videos later on demonstrating that, because I've only done it a couple times, and I'm still having trouble remembering a lot of the commands because it is a little tedious. The setup itself is a little tedious, but once you have it set up, you never need to touch it again, because all you have to do is run a few commands, right? And it's pretty crazy. So yeah, like I said, they'll usually run like an Nginx server. just as the front runner. So the actual attack server will have like Nginx on it, and it will receive all of the traffic. So if anybody visits the site, they're going to see a legitimate website on port 80 and port 443. However, you're going to be exfiltrating all of your data on another port within that server. And then that server will talk to the rest of these servers, which ultimately will come back to you, and you can extract everything wherever you need to go. And that's kind of how that works. And these servers, like I said, you can just take them on and offline like at a moment's notice within seconds. So you're not going to have the same IP address. That's why they call them bouncing servers, because you're kind of bouncing from server to server, right? So yeah, even if somebody were to get one of these IP addresses, guess what? It's already destroyed. There's nothing there. Like, there's nothing there for them to get, And generally, whenever they're attacking as well, within these Docker containers are going to have different IP addresses as well. They're going to have different IP addresses than the actual server as well, right? So if an analyst is looking, they're going to see that Docker container IP address. They're going to go after that. Well, they can't get to the server at all, So you may not even need to take the server offline. You may need to just start up a new Docker. Like, it's that simple. And like I said, everything's going to be automated now. It's actually pretty insane. So yeah, from here, I mean, they might set up like Ansible, just to have everything prepackaged for that. So some of my future videos, I'll be showing you like kind of how to do that. Like I said, I don't want to necessarily like show this for the wrong people. This is more for educational purposes and like how to prevent things like that from happening in the future. Which, I mean, I've kind of gone over like some of the stuff already. But in order to, defeat an adversary, you got to think like one, and I'm kind of showing you how they think. So yeah, I'll go ahead and end the video here. Look forward to more videos in the near future here. I'll try to make more videos. I'll try to make more tutorials. I've been really busy with my new job lately. It's been a lot of fun. No complaints there, but just happy to start making videos again. So if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to all of my social media. We're actually on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're now on Snapchat as well, though I'm not really the biggest fan of Snapchat. I just got those Snapchat glasses. They're kind of fun. But yeah. Hope you enjoy. Go ahead and leave some comments in there, whether negative or positive. I always appreciate the feedback. All right. Thanks, guys.